What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a great start to your morning. It is 6:33 a.m. Holy smokes. Crude oil is the one I missed out on. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. I don't know if you guys remember, we were trading it when it was down here. And so far with where it's at, it's up. Altogether on the day, it's up about 12%. It's not showing any signs of a change of direction. The overall EMA line, it's trading between the middle and top VWAP, which is showing signs of an uptrend. But it's very important to keep a close eye on the high points, low points, high points, low points, or kind of the pattern that it has going on, right? Just so you guys could see, I have not taken one position during pre-market hours or anything like that. Like I've said, I close my positions every single day, and yeah, it's a new day. Again, let's remind ourselves: a new day, new opportunity, and we're put to the test. It's how we manage our discipline, patience, and allowing the opportunity to present itself, and making sure that we wait for that confirmation. So let's go ahead and see. Welcome back, Alex. Woo woo. So keep a very close eye right now. The MACD and the RSI look super overextended right now for DWT. It would make sense on why it can potentially pull back, but again, the market just opened, so really anything can happen. So let's wait for that. FOMO is definitely on. Just so you guys could see, when I was trading this thing yesterday, again, you never know that this thing is going to happen, right? But just to see the change in, that would have been an $18,000 day, right? Or position profit. There we go. Getting that pullback. So here, pulling back, and one of the things that again I want to pay attention to is understanding that that DWT is the one that's showing signs of an uptrend. So I want this thing to pull back, catch a support, get a good deal on it, and then see if it continues to rally. So that's pretty much going to be the plan for today. Today is the crude oil report. So I think I'm just gonna go live for the full hour. At least that's the plan for now. We'll kind of see how it goes. But what's the support? Again, the EMA line has been acting as a support, but patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. So we'll see, depending on how far it pulls back, where it consolidates, and where it shows signs of reversal. That's pretty much what I'm going to leave it up to. So let's go ahead and again, /CL. This is kind of the pattern and the flow that we have going on. What's going on, Teddy? What's going on, Chris? Natural gas, I did see a couple of you guys talking about this. It was showing signs of an uptrend. It became overbought, became overextended, and then began to make lower highs, right? It's almost building this kind of like horizontal support and a potential breakout, right, for this thing to continue to sell off, or is it going to consolidate here long enough that it's going to reverse back up? But just now know that the middle VWAP, the EMA line, and the SMA line are all now going to most likely act as a resistance. So let's keep a very close eye out on that. Also, huge heads up, /NQ did sell off, right? So the market did pull back, but now it's beginning to consolidate. So I would set your alerts to see for a potential change of direction, as this would be very important for all the stocks that trade under NASDAQ. And then /GC with the exact opposite, showing signs of an uptrend, trading between the middle and top VWAP, making gold bullish. So let's see what we got going on here. There it goes. I want to wait for a pretty solid setup. So, oh gosh, guys, I'm so tired. I thought I got some good sleep, but just a little tired. I'm gonna take a little vitamin C pills. Feeling a little groggy this morning or something. I'm not too sure. Is it just me, or is Ricky lagging? I should not be. It looks like the stream quality is all good. Hope I'm not. Here we go. I want there to be a big change, so no lagging. Here we go. Nice push up. Whoa, /NQ already with that recovery. Look at that. Now it looks overextended, so we got /CL trying to touch the EMA line, right? That means that DWT, which is the one that's showing signs of a bullish pattern, right, uptrending, is pulling back. Let's see what happens. Right now, the MACD is still descending. The RSI is still pulling back. But again, the overall pattern for /CL is selling off and DWT is pushing up. So I'm going to set some more alerts. Let's see. Wow, that got pushed up right away. Yeah, I'm not going to go for that. I have to make sure the margin is worth it. And it made sense if I would have gotten filled at like 840, right? And then it pushed up to like 850. That's 1%. That's very attractive to me. And it's an overall bullish pattern, all that good stuff, right? But it just pushed up a little bit too quickly for me, and I want to give it more time. So it looks like we're almost consolidating. So let's see. I want there to be a big either like sell off. I want there to be a big push up. Again, it can literally just be one trade that I take today, and I can make 1.5%. Like, how amazing would that be? Do you guys ever think about it that way? Do you guys ever think about it that way, that it's not about like going in and out on a bunch of different trades? Wait, I'm about to sneeze. Bless me. Hooey. But yeah, I mean, I would much rather wait for a really solid opportunity to present itself. I know that this thing can continue to rally and this thing can break, 850 and make higher highs, and 100% I get that. Thank you all. Appreciate that. But one of the things that I just want to remind you is that, like, yes, this thing can potentially continue to rally. Patterns tend to repeat themselves, and the pattern right now on / or on DWT is higher highs and higher lows, and I get that 100%. But, what's the possibility for this thing to not make higher highs and then, potentially sell off? Well, the market just opened, right? And we've seen multiple times where it goes from pre-market to normal market and the overall direction changes, especially with something being super overextended on the day. Look at this. It's literally up almost about 12% on the day, just during pre-market hours, right? And from when the market opened. So when is the report again? The report is 1 hour after the market opens. So yeah, it's in like, what is that? 18 minutes. What is that, 48 minutes? Yeah. Here we go. I'm not filled right now. I'm not in any position, Ivan. But I usually set my stop loss wherever there were to be a break of pattern. So if this thing were to pull back and either break below the EMA line or something like that, that's when I would be on high alert. As this thing's been doing a very good job holding above this EMA line, right? So if it begins to pull back and make lower lows and stuff like that, that's a potential change of direction. So again, it's like, wow, it's potentially changing its pattern meaning that the pattern that I originally saw value in and the trade I originally saw value in is no longer relevant, right? So then I'll manage my risk there. But yeah, you can see that I have not taken one position. I've canceled one, right? So I closed as in like it never got filled because I didn't see the margin of profit to be worth it. So, and again, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be patient for a nice push up, a nice push down, something to, build that margin. Looks like this is still selling off, right? So it's trying to push up. We'll see it try to push up. It'll become a little bit more on the overextended side and then continue to sell off. So what is going on, Super Snake? The report comes out in 45 minutes. Yep, around that time. What's up? What's up? Here we go. And there's not any crazy activity going on, right? So like if I were to see a huge pullback, I'm just like, ooh, potential dip buy, right? If it does reverse. Oh, and there it goes. It just made higher highs. Whoa, and that pullback. Wait, what's going on here? Let's see. That pulled back super quickly. Hit highs of 850 and then right away pulled back to like, what is that? 843, 844, around that. Let's see. Would you say that it's too early to identify the direction for natural gas? No, but I mean, it's definitely selling off, right? So it's a descending pattern right now. I wouldn't say that that's like hard to identify, right? So I could see this, lower high, right? And these lower lows. So the overall direction for natural gas, I definitely see it to be a descending pattern. No question about that. But these pushes and these movements that it's having right now are really beginning to slow down in comparison to what it was doing. So like it would aggressively sell off, it would push up and then aggressively sell off, but it built such a strong support here that it's just consolidating a lot here, and I don't like that, right? I like there to be a clear either direction of something descending, right, or something pushing up. So this is what I would rather partake in. My ideal setup right now, and again, this is what I'm trying to like remind myself every single day, right? Is if I just give something time, and think about this, if I just give something time to push up, become super overextended, or vice versa, right? Become super overextended or super oversold, and then it's just bound to pull back. I literally just, I trade the 3x ETFs, right? So if the future moved 1%, then that means the ETF moved 3%. So if I can wait for an opportunity to present itself that offers a 2 to 3% margin, and I just have to wait for that, that's 1 or 2 trades to exceed my daily goal. That's what I would like to get into. Like these are nice as well, right? So I can try to buy the dip on degas, and it makes sense because natural gas is a descending pattern. It's at resistance. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, and it makes sense on why this thing can potentially begin to pull back. So that means that then degas can potentially continue to uptrend. It'll bounce here and then push up, and this is a 1% margin. That's not bad at all. It's actually very attractive. But the more little trades that I take, the more I'm bound to make a mistake and take a red trade, right? So if I become more selective and I reduce the amount of trades that I take, potentially the least like risk that I'm putting myself in, because I'm taking less positions, and it's the quality over quantity kind of aspect. And I think that, I don't know, because I'm not under the PDT rule, that I just became a little bit more, I'm trading with $100,000, and sometimes even with like a 0.05% move, I can make $500, and that's very attractive to me. But one of the things that I have to continue to remind myself is that, the dollar amount and the profit is just a byproduct of the trade, right? It's like, if I make sure that I become extremely selective with what I choose to trade, and that the opportunity is always 100% worth it, and I am trying to reduce the amount of trades that I take per day because of the risk involved when taking a trade, because they don't ever always go according to plan. If anything, they never go according to plan. It's very rare that they go exactly according to plan. So if I do one very simple little thing and I allow, right? And this is something that everyone under the PDT rule can follow as well. You're given 3 opportunities within a 5-day period, if you have under $25,000 and you're within the United States, to day trade, right? So be selective, allow the opportunity to present itself, and give it time. So once you get that confirmation, it's action time. You're put up to the plate and you're tested every single day with your patience, discipline, and time. There we go. DWT pushed up, 855, allowing the opportunity to present itself. So right now, DWT, again, is just an aggressive ascending uptrend pattern, and it looks like it's just continuing to push up. So really nice to still be able to see that, right? And from where it's at, that's around 1.7%. Yeah, I mean, it's doing an absolute just amazing job with how it just continues to rally. So, and I think that's the great part, that it's a good point. I've been taking less trades and have noticed that I've been a little bit more consistent. I think the biggest part of that is even if you're taking a lot of trades, but you're just draining your account, even if you begin to take less trades, that within itself can be something of value, because you're less bound to dig yourself in a bigger hole. Do you get what I mean? So even if it comes down to it's not about going completely red to just completely green, but it's slowly learning how to get yourself out of that consistent red day aspect. And I just think that if you become more selective and you choose to take less trades on a daily basis, you tend to risk less. You tend to put yourself in a less risky position time after time. So, yeah, I mean, and it sucks, because sometimes we all know that right now, DWT is an ascending uptrend pattern, and I really want to get in it, but and there it goes. It just pushed up just in the past 2 minutes, about another 1%. So a little bit over 1%. It goes 8.59. Natural gas with the sell-off, just like we expected, right? Did we not call that one out? DWT with that, or DYAS with that, it was right here, right? And then now it's up here, so it's 1.1%. So we're doing a great job identifying these opportunities. It's just being selective to decide which ones to take and which ones to avoid. Here we go, 8.60. Yeah, to an extent, but I still wouldn't try to guess which way the report's going to go. Talk about the FOMO, right? This is something that we were all aware about. But it's all good. I need to blow my nose. So, should an opportunity present itself, usually what portion of your portfolio would you go in with? So this is something that I cover in the course, and it's about averaging up. And if you've watched any of my live trading sessions, I like to average up and add in 3 sections, right? Or in three buys, to say the least. So I have a video on it, and I practice it every day when I trade live. So, and that's just my style. I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it. It's something that worked well for me, where my first buy is where I think something is a good deal and it's beginning to show signs of a reversal, but it's normally before confirmation, which I wouldn't suggest to everyone. And then the ones that follow is once we get confirmation of an uptrend. Sold the gas, done for the day, $1,300. Gary, you're a beast. I like that. I've been using that method in quarters. It's awesome. Super happy to hear that. Gary, hopefully you're done trading, man, because you need to leave some profit for the rest of us. It's not fair. We're out here struggling, just looking at charts with no money. Let's see. Wow, that's crazy. We live pretty close. Appreciate that, Isaac. I wish I could take credit for it, but you know what I'm going to say? That, it's your hard work and discipline that's paying off. So it's probably something that you encountered in the past couple of weeks that just clicked for you. Maybe you had enough practice. Maybe it just began to make more sense. Or you found, the beginning steps of your own trading style. And I think I think that we can both agree that it's a very exciting part, right? In your transition from being red to green. But altogether, just have it in the back of your head that, regardless of how green it is that you are right now, you're still getting started. Still a lot needs to be learned, right? And this is only the beginning, right? So always be on your toes to manage that risk and to stay on edge. I like that. So still no position. That is correct. We're waiting. This is probably the most patient that I have ever been. I've been calling all these out. I don't want to say calling out. I find that word to be annoying. Holy smokes. Gee willikers. Nice little 2% run. Ooh. Huge sell-off. Appreciate that, Isaac. Thank you. That's so cool. Welcome to the team. Aunt Pinto. I don't know if that's the last name, but yeah. Yeah, I could agree on that. You just begin to dig yourself in a bigger hole. Huge sell-off. Look at this. Wow. Almost 3%. Do you guys see this on DWT? So it's broken below the EMA lines. That's not the crazy part. Gabriel, I agree, but again, we just have to understand that, we have nothing but time. We have time for all this and so much more. So sold DGAS for successful 3 out of 1 trades. Ooh, having fun. I like that. Congrats on your successful trade. There we go. So Ricky, why is it not a good idea to jump to into UWT? So one of the first things that I want you to know is that I'm not here to tell you what you should buy or what you should sell, right? All I'm here to remind you is that how important it is to understand direction. If something is showing signs of an uptrend, it's that much easier for you to understand the low points, the high points, the low points, and the high points, and you have the overall direction to be in your favor. With something like UWT right now, it's aggressively selling off. So it's not that you can't make money on this. You 100% can. I've made money on descending patterns. For beginners that maybe struggle with entries and exits, it's that much more difficult for you to understand a good entry, and that much more, even more difficult to identify an exit, especially when patterns don't always repeat themselves with aggressive descending patterns. So yeah, so I saw hey, it's Kate and Anna, can you show us what you were talking about yesterday? Yeah, so Kate and Anna had a little bit or just joined the Learn Plan Profit team and had questions about when we were talking about like higher highs and higher lows. So this is a pretty good example where I find DWT to be very attractive because it's making higher highs and higher lows, meaning that, give me one quick second. It continues to increase in value, right? And every time that it pushes up, I'll show you right now. Let me just take this position. I do apologize. I just want to make sure that I get filled. So pretty much I just, every time that something is showing signs of an uptrend pattern, it pushes up higher and then it pulls back. And then the time that it goes up and continues to uptrend, its next resistance is actually higher than the one before. And then when it pulls back, it doesn't go as low as it did before. So this is what we mean by the higher highs and the higher lows. When something is descending, right? So the opposite, then we got these lower lows and these like lower highs. Sometimes where there begins to be a change of direction. So this is, I think, what we're talking about. When there tends to be a change of direction, I thought this was going to be a good example, but this was making lower lows and lower highs, right? So this was making lower lows and lower highs, but then began to consolidate and then began to make higher highs and then higher lows. So the overall direction changed. And then guess what happened? It consolidated and then began to make lower lows and lower highs. And then most likely what's going to happen is then it'll consolidate and then change directions again. So that's what I meant by back and forth of, to become familiar with what higher highs and higher lows mean and to keep a very close eye on, is that pattern going to continue, or is it going to change direction? And are we seeing consolidation? Because when we see consolidation, it doesn't mean that you can't trade it. It just means that maybe it's, not the best due to the risk involved of not understanding or having a super clear direction. In my opinion and in my experience, direction is super, super important. If you don't understand the way that something is heading, it's that much more difficult for you to understand, should you stay in or should you get out, right? Because if something has a clear direction, like DWT right now, right? As of right now, DWT has an ascending uptrend pattern, very clear direction. So we feel comfortable taking that position. But when it changes directions, or if it begins to change, then we might be a little bit more uneasy. Do you get what I mean? So just something to keep in mind. I'm so sorry. I got so many, I don't even want to say allergies, but Jesus, I apologize. Oh, shoot. Let's see. We might be getting some form of consolidation here. And if this is true, a potential change of direction, and I just have to accept it. So it sucks that this is happening like as soon as I take my position, but it's inevitable, right? We can't do anything about how the market plays out. It's just we just have to accept it. And yeah. That was bad. Yikes. That was really bad. Here we go. Let's see. And we're starting off on a bad note. It's all good. Let's see it. If it can continue to push up, there it goes, continuing to sell off. So I closed out my position, and again, this was not something, this is an absolute just change of direction. That's the easiest way for me to put it. And this doesn't always happen, but it did, and I just have to accept it. So now it's looking a little bit more on the overextended side. Still pushing. /CL is still pushing. So natural gas, wow. Sheesh. This is a really aggressive change of direction. I guess it would have been about the same because, what is this, 1.3%? No, yeah, natural gas pushed up quite a bit. Yeah. Isn't it the crude oil report today? It is. I'm trying to see if any news came out, but I don't see anything. Yes. These things are still pushing up, so potential dip buy, right? But we don't know if it's going to continue to sell off, so pretty big margins here. So I just don't know which one to go to. I don't want to overcomplicate it, so let's take a step back and see which one is overextended and which one begins to show signs of a pullback first. So here we go. Looks like DGAS might be trying to reverse back up. Shoot, come on. Dang it, come on. All right. Don't you guys love it when TOS freezes? Ah. All right, I thought that we were reaching a peak around this general area, but we might not be. So this thing can continue to sell off. There it goes. Here we go. Natural gas is showing signs of, that potential pullback. So let's just keep a very close eye if this pattern continues. /CL trying to pull back, right? It's not really making any lower lows as of right now. So that's kind of what I'm going to wait out for. So I went in with $25,000, which is 1/4 of what I would normally trade with, right? So here we go. Can we begin to pull back? Let's see. Not breaking down below 52 just yet. Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go. Sweet. Waiting for the break below the EMA line. Not sure if we're going to get it, so we're just patiently trying to wait. And it looks like we might be bouncing here. So getting rejected by this EMA line means that we're getting a bounce potentially on this EMA line. So this is kind of what I'm waiting out for. So just so you guys know, this I see to be a descending pattern. It became overbought, became overextended. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It began to pull back. That's why I began to add more to my position size on DWT. But now, as it approached this EMA line, it can potentially act as a support. And it looks like that's what it's acting as of right now. And before I add any more to my position, right, I would like this thing to break below the EMA line, indicating signs of lower lows, which would then be in favor of DWT. But not too sure if we're going to get that, right? So Yeah, so it's just a waiting game right now. Trying to wait. How did natural gas turn out? It bounced as well. Bounced on the EMA line. NQ moving up, and NQ breaking above that middle VWAP. Heads up on that. And there we go. Another $500 loss on my position, and this is where I'm going to close it. It's just so overextended that, yeah, it hurts to like cut losses here because I know it's just bound to pull back, but it just comes down to the very principle of, managing risk. And, I agreed that I would cut losses if I surpass $500. And Diaz broke above. There it goes. Natural gas pulling back. Okay. In favor of D-gas. Watch out for this. DWT. We got 10 minutes until the report comes out, team. Just a friendly reminder. 10 minutes. This is crazy. It just won't break below that EMA line. Yeah, it's just not breaking below the EMA line, team. Ah, it's already there. Okay. Wow. Sorry, team. Oh, well. I actually didn't mean to send it there. Wow. Oh, God. Okay. My finger literally like twitched, but okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to cut it at 27 anyways, but that was a rough one. To say the least. It wasn't even this last trade. This last trade, that was fine. I lost the 500. I think I lost like $555 or something like that. So that's fine. I accept that. It was this one where it initially changed direction, and this is my fault. Just caught me by surprise. I should have, at a much quicker rate, cut my losses. I ended up cutting losses at 1.3% and not cutting losses at 0.5%. So 100% my mistake. I would have been down, $1,000, which is fine, with 2 losses, with 2 red trades, which I accept that because I put myself in that position. I should have done, this is a perfect example. I not only am in the red, which is like inevitable, it's bound to happen. I accept that. But because of like just that quick change of direction, I ended up giving back 0.08% more than I planned to. And this is a perfect example of like, sometimes when things can change quickly, a stop limit, stop loss, and all that really does play a huge role. So we got 4 minutes left until the crude oil report comes out. Just so you guys can see, it's a really rough start to the day. Total of 7 trades, 1.9% down. So that's almost 2K that I've given back, and it's been about 1 hour since the market has opened. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of activity happening. So I'm sure that I can make it back, but probably will not hit my daily goal. So I'm sure that I can make back the 2%, but just a little bit of a bummy, right? This is a perfect example of like, regardless of like how long you've been trading, sometimes I didn't see that change of pattern I think I called it out, that like potential change of pattern, but it's just, it happened so quick that I was too slow to change that. So man, if I lost that much, the worst. Yeah. Well, again, it's all part of trading, right? It's not like I lost it as of now, but definitely not going to revenge trade, right? Yesterday I had that 2.1K day, right? The day before that I had a little bit over 2K, and the days before that, I think 2 of the days before that I had 2.4 and 2K, right? So we're put to the test every single day. So we need to manage that risk. We need to, allow the opportunity to present itself. And I saw a consistent pattern. It made sense to me. And was it the most attractive trade? Definitely not, right? Was I up? I was actually up about $400 at one point, and it wasn't even fully invested. But it doesn't always go according to plan. It sucks, but trust me, if we're here to worship those like 2 to 3% days, then we have to accept, right, and acknowledge that these 1 to maybe 2% losses are inevitable. We're always going to make mistakes, and this is what the market is all for, right? So every market has its pros and its cons. I would say that this could be viewed as one of the cons, but it's how you accept it, right? It's inevitable. It's like when you have a business, losses and liabilities, that they are bound to happen. But let's just keep that positive mindset and allow that opportunity to present itself. So you are consistently profitable, Ricky. That's what matters. I appreciate that. Yeah. So hopefully we don't end it red. I'm excited to not end it red. So we have 1 minute until the natural gas report. I was gonna go blow my nose, but I'm just gonna wait till after. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I hope that all of you guys made money. Hope at least each and every single one of you came out in the green instead of me. I'd rather take the loss for the team than to have you guys follow, right? /CL report has been real consistent lately. Yep. Here we go. So /CL. We got 30 seconds left. No, yeah. Not natural gas report. I apologize. Crude oil report. Gee Willikers, look at that push. Look at that push up right now. That would have been down quite a bit. Here we go. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Whoa! Jesus! I should have just, right? How many of you guys are going to be like, I should have just held? Right? Look at that push. Whee! Gee Willikers. Talk about comeback season, right? Look at that push. Holy smokes. Did it have an influence on natural gas? Nope. Look at that. Crazy. This is a pretty big move. Look, for DWT, that's a huge move. It just made higher highs on the day. Wow. Would have been nice to be up 5K, to say the least. Right? I mean, what are you going to do? Crazy. So cool. Yeah, it's still going, right? It was all the way down here, and then it pushed up. There, we'll have it follow. It pushed up about 6.42% so far. There it goes. Might be peaking out. Look at the MACD. Again, one of the things that I do want to remind you guys is that there could be a potential quick change of direction, but then ultimately, at least in my experience, and again, just take it as that, it doesn't always follow through, right? So it's pulling back right now. Just don't be so quick to think like, okay, this is the top for DWT. It's just bound to pull back. It doesn't always happen like that. Like the news is still relevant for the next 30 minutes, for the next hour, sometimes for the entire rest of the day. So yeah, I'm going to give this time. I'm going to give this time to play out a little bit more, and then we can kind of go from there. So another perfect example on why, I mean, you guys could be like, well, Ricky, you should have just held and, you would have made your money back plus more on top of that. You never know. Just as much as it went up, it could have gone down. To me, the reports are a gamble. I like to trade the recovery, meaning that I like to trade when one of these begins to pull back, right? So if this thing begins to pull back, then I can make my money on UWT, correct? That's the way that I like to trade, and again, that's just me. So let's see if we can capture even just a little piece of this. No, it's still pulling back. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it right now. I need to give it more time. I need to blow my nose. And trust me, like I've been in this position multiple times before where I get in too early and then it just continues to sell off. So I'm already in a big enough hole right now that I don't want to put myself in a bad situation. So remember, controlled risk. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. It was definitely not the most green live stream for me, right? And there it goes. UWT is pulling back once again. But I really hope that you at least learned something new, the importance of patience, the importance of change of direction, the importance of risk management. And I think we covered a lot of that, which I think is very important. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. Sorry for my messy hair. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Make someone smile today. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.